Welcome, everyone, to this special edition of our SignalCast in the wake of the El Paso massacre over the weekend, joined by Obi with the Texas Democratic Party in Austin, and then Kira Murray here. We're in Houston. Obi, let's just kick it off. President Trump this morning gave an address to the nation. He tried to, I guess, in his own way, soothe everybody, which of course didn't happen. I think there's a bunch of crocodile tears going on there. But what was your reaction to his remarks this morning?
Well, since Trump has been a public figure, he has been stoking up racial divisions every single chance that he's gotten. You look at it, less than a month ago, he told four congresswomen to go back to where they came from. He's constantly degraded people in the Latino community. He called African countries, shithole countries. It's been ridiculous, and you look at all of this, like the actions that happened over the weekend are a direct result of his words. He can say what he wants right now, but the blood is still on his hands. It's still in effect, it's still because of him. Like none of this would be out in the open. People wouldn't feel as emboldened to do these things if it wasn't for the things that he's been saying. White nationalists think that he's a white nationalist, and I think that's all you need to hear right there.
It sounds like, at least today, that President Trump is planning to come to El Paso on Wednesday. I'm not sure he's going to be welcomed there with open arms.
You look at the people who Trump has degraded the most, it's people in communities like El Paso. And frankly, there are better ways for him to spend his time, and there are better ways for the community to heal. And I think the biggest thing is that if they don't want him there, there's no reason why he should be there.
Here, so we've heard a lot of reasons here from Republicans in the state, whether it's from Senator Ted Cruz and Governor Abbott and others, about why this occurred and how to help solve it. They've put forth everything but gun safety precautions legislatively. Are we just playing the same old thing that we've all been hearing for years?
Sure looks like it. I mean, of course, the playbook has been to let the outrage and upset after a particular incident die down, and then people forget all about it and go back to the way we were doing things. Whether that will be the case in this situation with Dayton and on top of El Paso remains to be seen. But, if history is any guide, people's memories will fade quickly, and I think that's what the Republican leadership is counting on. They can say this is due to mental health, it's due to video games, but they won't address the elephant in the room, which is the prevalence of these high-caliber weapons that are just way too easy for people to get. But the truth of the matter is they're beholden to the gun lobby, the NRA, the gun dealers that write large checks and support them politically, and they're just not interested in doing anything to change that. The House of Representatives passed universal background check bill, a bill, by the way, that's supported by about 90% of the American public, but Mitch McConnell won't bring the bill to the floor of the Senate for a vote. That's outrageous, and that's a tragedy. And it's why we got to take the Senate back next year.
The way to solve this gun violence issue
Right.
is elections. Is that true?
I mean, it's certainly related. I mean, gun violence is a complicated problem. Most gun deaths in the United States are suicides. But we have a problem with that. We do have issues with mental health. We do have issues with red flag laws, not enough of them, which allow people with domestic violence history, other criminal history, mental health history, violence issues that are too easily allowed to obtain a gun. We have to make it harder for people who shouldn't have those kinds of weapons to get them. But elections is the place you start. You got to get new people in those offices.
Obi, I assume y'all agree with this idea that the way to really fundamentally change this issue is to elect new people.
Yeah, that's exactly the case. You look at it. John Cornyn has an A- rating from the NRA. Greg Abbott has an A- rating from the NRA, and Dan Patrick has an A+ rating from the NRA. It's ridiculous the amount of money that the NRA has put into Texas politics, and all three of them issued very weak responses to the attack. None of them would call out white nationalism. Lieutenant Governor Patrick blamed it on video games. Governor Abbott blamed it on mental health. And then Senator Cornyn basically said that there was no way to fix the problem. He said, this is just one of those problems where there's no way to fix it, which is also just incorrect because you look at it, we're the only country in the world that deals with this kind of mass shootings. Every other country has figured it out besides ours. And it's up to our legislators and our leaders to come together and find a common sense solution for gun reform.
Speaking of elections, switching gears a bit to the for Republicans who are going into retirement here in Texas from the U.S. Congress. Who are they here, and what does that mean for Democrats?
Well, one, of course, is Will Hurd from suburban San Antonio area, a district that runs all the way to the border. Pete Olson from here in the Houston area, Mike Conaway from Midland, and then yesterday, Kenny Marchant from the Dallas-Fort Worth area. All four have announced they will not seek re-election next year. Three of those four districts, the Conaway Midland district accepted, are extremely competitive districts. Some cases where Beto won the district and the congressman narrowly survived. I think there's a couple of things going on there. One, it sucks to be in the minority party in the House of Representatives. So a lot of these senior Republican members are discovering for the first time in years that it's not much fun being there when you don't have control of your committees or the legislative calendar. But the second is, I think they smell real danger. President Trump's tactics, his appeal that he's using to his base of voters does not sell very well in this state. We are a large multicultural state with lots of college-educated professionals. He's hurt the Republican Party in Texas badly.
So here's a final question for you. What does this mean, these four retirements to Democrats?
Yeah, it shows you just how competitive Democrats are right now. We're competing up and down the ballot. We have a good chance to win elections up and down the ballot. The big thing, too, is to note that this probably isn't going to be the last one. We expect at least 1 to 2 more congressional retirements. We're expecting quite a few more legislative retirements. And when you look at the amount of changing demographics across the state, it makes complete sense that Republicans would rather decide to hang it up than face losing an election. So we're excited for it. We know that we have some very strong candidates running, and we expect to win a lot of these competitive congressional districts.
All right. Thanks for joining us.
Yep. Thank you guys for having me.